Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we have another Gun Gripe episode for you, and we are going to be getting into this Russian ammo ban that has come out of Biden's Department of State. Now, we're going to get in the weeds on this, and I'm sure a lot of you are pretty angry because we're talking like 40 to 45% of the ammunition that Americans use on a regular basis, constitutes a lot of that Russian imported steel ammunition. So this is a really big deal for a lot of people, and we should really be angry about it. Before we get started, though, I'd like to thank our friends at RMA Body Armor. They are a great group of guys, and I really appreciate them supporting Gun Gripes. They make some great NIJ certified body armor, start to finish, right here in the U.S. Great prices, a really great product. They have a variety of different armor. We've done a lot of testing on their stuff, and it's held up really, really good. If you want to support the channel and support us and support Gun Gripes, definitely go check out some RMA Body Armor and tell them we sent you. Really good group of guys, and we appreciate their support. Let's get into this. Now, there is some information that is kind of floating around about this ammo ban, and there's right now, unfortunately, is a lot of speculation because there's not really anything officially in the Federal Registry just yet. They're going to publish some documents, I think, around September 7th or 8th. So it's like a few weeks that they've got to prepare the official verbiage of it. This was just a letter that got basically sent out on the State Department's website, kind of entailing some vague wording as to what this is going to entail, and there's still a lot of question in the air as to what exactly it's going to mean for the firearms industry here in the United States. We've talked to a few friends of ours that are in importing, and I haven't really been able to get too many straight answers yet as to what it's exactly going to mean. Some pretty scary stuff. I mean, when you say that you have a death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? When we look at all of these infringements on the Second Amendment, this is just one way that they can, wield a political sword to essentially cut the head off of a much greater issue that they hate, and they know that they don't have congressional support to go after, right? So anytime, the president signs an executive order or tells the State Department or the DOJ to act in a certain way from the executive end, it really does bypass the balance of power and the way that we pass laws in this country, right? We have to go through the Congress. We have to, we have a checks and balances for how we have a separation of powers and how we pass certain laws, right? So this hasn't gone through any form of congressional approval or any type of lawmaking process. This is an action, an executive order that has come from that end of things. And those are scary because they tend to just kind of be take it as you wish and with no comment period. You're kind of just subject to what's going on with it, and there's not a heck of a lot that can be done about it, really.
Not really. So these new sanctions came around from the poisoning of Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny. All right. And it says right here, while that may be a viable reason for the United States government to sanction the Russian Federation, the ammunition import restriction seems more aimed at punishing American gun owners and businesses than as a foreign policy tool to influence the Russian Federation, which absolutely it does. Why is Biden's State Department punishing gun owners here in the United States? Because of something that happened in Russia. Is it going to prevent Russian ammunition manufacturers from getting ammunition over here to the United States by, going outside of Russia and setting up new factories? No, absolutely not. And we discussed this earlier. But one of the big things is the fact that it's causing such a massive panic right now. I have some folks that follow me on Instagram, and they message me occasionally, and one fellow works at a gun shop in Ohio, and he said they didn't really know anything about the import ban announcement early on in the morning, earlier in the week, and they were selling ammunition like crazy. Okay, people were coming in buying steel-cased ammo like hotcakes, Wolf and Tula and everything else. And about half an hour into opening, they realized what was going on, and the owner jacked the prices up like double or even triple. And that's just a common supply and demand thing. When supply is stagnant or is going to be stagnant for a while, and demand increases exponentially like that, then obviously there are going to be some price changes that are in line with the common rules of supply and demand. So you are going to be paying higher prices for steel case ammo that is on the market currently. Some of the vague wording here, which it's just kind of one of these things where we're taking this kind of with a grain of salt ourselves, and we're just trying to put out the best information for you guys. But the actual wording right now on the State Department's website, okay, pursuant to the Chemical and Biological Weapons Control and Warfare Elimination Act of 1991, the United States will impose a second round of sanctions on the Russian Federation over its use of a Novichok nerve agent in the August 2020 poisoning of Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny. All right, so new sanctions imposed today include, all right, number one, restrictions on the permanent imports of certain Russian firearms. New and pending permit applications for the permanent importation of firearms and ammunition manufactured or located in Russia will be subject to a policy of denial. All right, so this is a little bit vague. So when you're filing a Form 6, okay, is the form that you file with the ATF to import firearms or ammunition. All right, on that form, you have to include serial numbers of the given items that are going to be imported. So this can be individual serial numbers. It can be a serial number range. If you're importing, say, 100 or 200, say Sega type rifles or whatever the case is, AK pattern rifles. Obviously, because we can't get Segas anymore.
So you would call up the person that's going to be exporting the guns and say, "Hey, I'll take this serial number range," and then they go, "All right, we're going to earmark this serial number range for you." And then you put in the paperwork, that sort of thing.
So the paperwork normally takes several weeks, right? So there are manufacturers and importers here in the States that have approved Form 6s right now, sitting on their desk, and are just waiting on shipment of these firearms. So are those forms going to be amended by the ATF in regards to oversight by the State Department? Okay, into this new run of sanctions? Are they going to say, okay, you can only import half of these guns, or you can only import half of this ammunition,
or none of them?
Or are they going to say, none? None is going to be able to be imported, or we'll leave these current processed and approved Form 6s in the queue, and you'll be able to import this, but they will not be approving new or pending permit applications. They will be denied. So if you have a pending Form 6 in the queue right now with the ATF, come September 7th, if it's not approved, then it will likely be 100% denied. But as I mentioned earlier, under this wording here. But as we mentioned earlier, is it really going to stop the ammunition from getting over here? No. But will it take some time? Oh, absolutely.
Well, there might be a slight bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I've done a little bit of research, and also, to be fair, Chad and I have been buying steel case ammo a long time. And a lot of you guys have been buying steel case ammo, and it does represent a considerable cost savings to run steel case. I was actually just making the comment to Chad the other day that it's almost cheaper to buy 5.45 by 39 steel case rifle ammo than it is to buy 9mm ammo, which is crazy, right? To think that to find 9mm for 26 or 25 cents a shot is almost impossible, but you can find 5.45 all day long for 26 cents a shot. So that represents a great value for training purposes and for plinking and for shooting and recreation and personal defense, right? So steel case ammo has a place in that it actually represents 40 to 45% of all the ammunition that is consumed or used by American consumers here in the U.S. So you can't help but think it's a stab at the Second Amendment more than it's a stab at the commerce of whether or not Russia has the liberty to send those firearms and ammunition over here. Now, the other thing to consider with this whole thing is there are many other countries that we can import steel case ammo from. There's actually a line of Wolf ammunition that's made in the Ukraine, and if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the Wolf ammo is made in the Ukraine currently. Okay, I'm sure there's plenty of other Comblock countries. You've got the Belam ammunition. You've got, I'm sure, Poland, Bulgaria, maybe Czechoslovakia. There's plenty of those Comblock countries that we do import ammo from. Maybe not in the numbers that we import it from Russia from, because Russia still outproduces those people by a huge margin. So just by virtue of them making so much of the ammo, the more of a commodity you make, the cheaper it can be, right? And the more you buy, the cheaper it can be. So there's an economical reason to order this stuff from Russia. It's not because we love the Russians. It's necessarily because we like the cheap prices of the ammo. So to keep the ammo as cheap as possible, we buy it from whoever we can get it the cheapest from. That's just simple economics, right? If widget A costs less from supplier number 1 than supplier numbers 2 through 10, well, then you're going to go with supplier number 1. That's just simple economics. So in the short term, is there a way that people can still get the ammunition they need despite the Russian sanctions? The answer is probably yes, right? I mean, you see that Hornady and Winchester both produce steel case ammunition. Now, I don't know if the cases themselves, the steel case component, is produced here. I believe they're buying that stuff overseas. I don't know where. But now, is that to say that some American manufacturer is going to step in and fill the void for steel case ammo? I have to say, Chad, likely not. The reason I say that is because, okay, if you're set up to produce brass case ammunition, right, and you're selling, you're back, like, think about Federal, for instance. Federal is backlogged right now for like 9 to 10 months or more on
so
the
is
orders.
like Winchester and other ammunition
So is
manufacturers
every manufacturer.
too.
So why would you invest in all this tooling to produce a piece of ammunition that that people are gonna expect you to sell for less? Right? Why sell it for less when you could produce a commodity that you can sell for a higher profit margin, and you're already backlogged on that commodity as it is, and you can sell that commodity for more money, a more premium product, right, with premium components. No matter what we think about steel case ammunition, it's always going to be viewed as a subpar commodity compared to brass case ammunition. That's just the reality. It is not as good of a quality product as a good brass case piece of ammunition. So the point being is it doesn't mean that we're never going to see the steel case ammo ever again. Of course not. There's going to always be a way to work around. Now, does that mean that Russian companies will invest in ammo companies in other countries in order to help still realize some profit potential off of what that company is doing to import ammunition into the United States? That's neither here nor there. That really is irrelevant because it says right here, all right, new and pending permit applications for the permanent importation of firearms and ammunition manufactured or located in Russia. Manufactured or located in Russia. So if they set up a factory in the Ukraine or whatever, whoever, right? Wolf already is producing ammunition in the Ukraine. You've seen Wolf ammo. Some of it says made in Russia. Some of it says made in Ukraine. So where there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure the market will heal from it in one way or the other. I think the biggest takeaway from this is while there may not necessarily be anything we can directly do about this, because I think from everybody I've talked to, it's an executive order from Biden that has caused this to happen. While we may not be able to do anything about it, it doesn't mean that in the long term the market won't heal from that particular. It's terrible. I mean, I remember when they put the brakes on the Chinese stuff, right? We were bringing in Chinese firearms, Chinese ammunition, tons of stuff, right? Remember all the Norinkos? You could get Norinco SKSs for $80 because they were just dirt cheap. You could get Norinco 1911s, Norinco M14s. Man. All of that stuff can still be had in Canada. And they were bringing in really good quality military spec Chinese 7.62x39 ammunition. I actually have a box of it laying around somewhere. It's kind of collectible nowadays. But they were bringing in 9x18 Makarov ammo. They were bringing in probably, I don't recall seeing any Norinco 545, but I do recall seeing a lot of 9x18 and 7.62x39. But the point being, you could get it. And it was very, very affordable and inexpensive. And of course, they put the brakes on the Chinese stuff. Now they're putting the brakes on the Russian stuff. We already see that certain firearms already had the brakes put on them, right? Like the Sega ban, they stopped bringing in Russian American Armory imports on the Segas. They stopped bringing in Veprs, right? Which sucks because they're great AKs. And now they're basically saying an all-encompassing, if it's from Russia, period, we don't want it. Which sucks.
It's crazy. Now, like when Eric, was talking about some of the U.S. manufacturers that produce steel-cased ammunition. Now, as we mentioned, we're not import experts or anything like that. Okay, of course, but we know just enough to get in trouble most of the time. But
usually trouble.
So I'm not sure, how cases are imported. I would assume that they're imported primed, but they may not be primed previously. So it may not stop the importation of cases. If they're not considered, ammunition in some kind, for importation purposes. But a lot of times the U.S. produced steel-cased ammo is certainly higher cost than its Russian-made counterpart. Now, companies like Barnaul, Brown Bear, Silver Bear, those the Bear brands and whatnot, those are all Russian produced, correct? So
They
we won't
are.
be seeing any of that for a while. And these sanctions, there is a timetable on these sanctions, just so you know. The sanctions can only be lifted after a 12-month period if the executive branch determines and certifies to Congress that Russia has met several conditions described in the Chemical and Biological Warfare Act. Let's see, including providing reliable assurances that it will not use chemical weapons in violation of international law, is not making preparations to use chemical weapons in the future, is willing to allow international inspectors to verify those assurances, and making restitution to Mr. Navalny. All right, so if Russia meets these criteria, then the importation of Russian ammo will be potentially reinstated. Now, one of the all right, potentially, all right, but this is the government that we're talking about here, so they've lied to us in the past.
How many times have you ever known for the government to take something away and turn around and give it back?
Not very often, but anyways, just
in theory,
it's here. So, but anyways, all right. Look, one of the other things, and this is what really sucks. All right, early in the video, Eric mentioned that steel cased ammunition, all right, for just normal everyday Joe to go out and shoot and plink with and stuff and train with, accounts for 40 to 45% of the entire market for ammunition in the United States. All right, so what happens when you take away that 40% of ammunition? All right, all the current problems that we are seeing right now with not only ammunition supply, availability, and price are going to be exacerbated. So you're going to see longer wait times for ammunition to come in. You're going to see higher prices on brass case ammunition. So brass case prices were coming down, right? So now you're going to probably start seeing brass case ammunition prices trickle back up again, all right? And supply and demand. We talk about this is common economics, all right? You're taking away 40% of the supply overnight like that because the people are already out there panic buying, okay? And God, I hate panic buying so much. It happens in so many different facets of the economy, and I especially hate it when it happens in the gun industry because it's just ridiculous. It's like, oh, they're banning it, so I need to go get it. Well, why didn't you have a small stockpile to begin with, like we've been telling you for years?
All right. So here's another way to think about it. What if overnight, okay, just hear me out.
All right, here we go.
What if overnight you realized that there were 40% more gun owners than there was yesterday? All right. Think about what that would do to the ammo supply, guns, magazines, just general gun world that we currently exist in. It'd be pretty crazy, right? So this current run on ammo and guns and supplies that we're seeing, that's at the current rate. That's at the current amount of gun owners. They basically just artificially increase the amount of gun owners by 40% overnight by reducing the quantity of ammo that's available in a way, because now, there may not physically be more gun owners, but you're going to have the economical effect as if there were, though, because now you drastically decrease the supply of available ammunition. In some cases, steel case, no pun intended, is the only type of ammunition some people can even afford to begin with at all, right? So now you're disenfranchising an entire group of people who might not be able to afford to pay 90 cents for a round of ball ammunition, or pay $1.65 or $1.75 for a defensive carry round for their Glock or something. So that's pretty scary. So I have to certainly question the overall motives, if not the overall thought process of Biden and the State Department when they come up with decisions like this. I mean, have they put in the proper time to actually properly engage the economical impact, the impact on American jobs, the impact on American industry, the impact on the rights and liberties of American civilians? The ability of us to properly exercise our Second Amendment rights, train, protect ourselves. I mean, all of these are factors that must be properly weighed and considered before, all right, they're trying to, essentially slap Russia on the wrist, but what cost does that slap on the wrist have to Americans? I mean, you have to wonder, have they properly considered the costs? And you have to pretty much assume that they have not completely considered every single economical and impact and the impact on people's liberties that this is going to have. They simply do not care about those impacts. They, in fact, dare I say, know exactly what they're doing with this, and they know that this is a gun control push more than it is a slap on the wrist to Russia, and that's what's so frightening about it, right? We just allow billions of dollars worth of equipment to fall into the hands of the Taliban, Okay, ammunition, bombs, guns, vehicles, drones, technology, equipment, you name it. Night vision,
Helicopters.
uniforms, helicopters, you name it. Tons of equipment that your tax dollars paid for. And right now, all of this scrutiny that he is under, and that the State Department's under, the Department of Justice is under, the military's under, they're all under a microscope right now. There's folks on all sides of the political spectrum that are really pissed at them about this, about the way this was handled. No one is denying that we needed to leave Afghanistan, right? People on the left and right are going, yeah, let's get the heck out. What they're mad about is how it happened and the lack of leadership that caused the situation to digress in such a way that it did. So you're going to tell me, you're bringing all these people over here, you're letting, you let all this equipment fall into the hands of these people, all right? And I see that neither here nor there. That's water under the bridge. There's nothing that can be done about that now. But then your answer to life's questions is, we should ban Russian guns and ammunition and not consider the economic impact that it's going to have on American companies, American importers, American sovereignty and freedom, and our ability to, exercise our Second Amendment rights. I mean, that's what's frightening about this. That's the best you can do? Like, that's what's crazy about it. That's the best they can do.
Well,
you ever seen the meme of Rick in the pawn shop there, Pawn Stars? I know y'all seen that meme. Where the person brings in the thing to pawn it, and Rick says, the best I can do is this. That's what this is. All right, an American came into Pawn Stars and asked Rick, hey, you think we could buy back some of those Taliban guns? Or, hey, could maybe we, remove all these items from the NFA that you just gave to all these people so Americans can own the same thing? Like, that's all we really want, is to be armed as good, at least toe-to-toe as our enemies, right? Like, that's fair. And then Rick say, well, the best we can do is ban Russian firearms and ammunition. Like, that's their answer. That's really the best they can do.
Or the meme where it says, nobody. And here's a ban on Russian ammunition and firearms.
It's like, who in a million years, when the masses are out with pitchforks and torches, right, and demanding scalps, like, all right, how is that your answer? Like, do they not see the crazy run that is being made on firearms and ammunition right now? And your best answer is, we're going to put the brakes on 40% of the U.S. ammo supply. That's their answer. That's literally their answer.
Well, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Well,
Rahm Emanuel.
That seems to be not only their mantra, but their first general order.
I really feel like these sanctions, like Eric mentioned, they're not really intended to punish Russia as much as they're just a way to punish U.S. gun owners from an administration that obviously has a complete distaste for guns and gun owners as a whole.
Well, here, not over there.
Oh no, not over there, but here. But it almost seems like just a stab sometimes, just because legislation gets stalled in Congress because Congress can't get their act together. Okay, that's what's been said in the past by this administration. So we're going to take matters into our own hands, right? And we're going to get what we want one way or the other. So they're just taking tiny little stabs at gun ownership and the Second Amendment as a whole. So it's just one of those things. We'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens with this. But hopefully some more details will come out as some of the manufacturers and the importers and such will release maybe a little bit more detail on how this is going to affect the market as a whole in the coming months. But initially, I mean, it's crazy out there. I mean, just you've seen, like, I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten in the past 48 hours from all these different websites that I don't remember ever having any affiliation with. Somehow I got put on their list, and it's just steel case ammo going fast. And you go and you look at it, and a 1,000-round case of steel case like Tula 5.56 has gone up from
$500-600.
Yeah, it's gone up from $300 to $4.99 or $5.69.
Right.
9 mil has gone up to 60 cents a shot to match a lot of the brass case stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just insanity. And like I said before, all the latecomers who are woefully unprepared and do not listen. They listen about as good as my children do, like a bag of rocks, to advice. It's like, go out and buy some ammunition. I don't tell my kids to go buy ammo, but I wish they could. But, go buy ammunition. Stock up while it's cheap. Buy it cheap, stack it deep, as the old, adage goes, right? But
or you can just get it for free, like the Taliban.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
I mean, that must be nice. I mean, do I need to put on a man dress where they drop a truck with a dish on top and a crate of ammo on my doorstep?
Look, I did see a funny meme.
Jeez, man.
I saw a funny meme.
What's a guy got to do?
With Thor, right, from the Marvel movies and all. He's like, they're... The administration's not going to give you any ammunition and firearms. It's like, well, if I dress like this, if I dress like this, they will. He pulls his his cover over his face like a Taliban soldier. It's like, if I dress like this, maybe they will. It's just insane. I mean, it's just we think that we're getting a little bit ahead in this craziness that is the gun market right now, and then we get thrown a brick. Right, through the window.
Prices were trying to come back down on a variety of different ammunition, and I think you will see a run on steel case, as Chad said, but I also think that there's a little bit of a reverse psychology aspect that comes into play here. When you see a website posting, oh, well, we've got steel case ammo, 1,000-round case for $600, and you think, oh my gosh, because this person is telling me I won't be able to get steel case ammo,
I better buy it now.
If you wouldn't buy it for $400 a case or $350 a case, why would you buy it for $500 or $600 a case?
Because people are stupid like that.
For one, right? So it's like you're being conditioned to think that, oh, I should buy it just for whatever reason, for any cost, just because it's not going to be available anymore. At least that's what you're being told. Mm-hmm. When in reality, if you are savvy and you keep your eyes peeled, there's ammunition that you can buy good brass case, M855 if you're looking for 5.56 for 70 cents a shot, maybe 80 cents for the good stuff. And it's more than that $600 case of steel case, but it's also way better with a better projectile, more consistent velocities, way better overall quality control. Mm-hmm. I mean, guys, remember, steel case ammo is cheap for a reason, not only because it can be purchased so cheaply by the importers and brought in by the previously brought in by the shiploads and everything. And,
raw material cost.
And bought in such, large quantities, you can get the price down. Mm-hmm. But that low price comes at a cost, right? I mean, has anybody ever said, oh, I can't wait to go into a miniature dirt war with my steel case ammo? Well, other than like quality 7.6 or, some of the really good imported steel case military ammo, like, the real deal Russian 7.62x25 or 54 or 7.6. I know for a while, I don't want to get off in the weeds on this because I know this video is getting kind of long, but I remember when you could buy the Russian surplus 7.62x54R SVD match grade ammo. It was a 200 grain ball hollow point boat tail round, and it was like the best match grade ammo that you could possibly get for your SVD or PSL, right? It was like a heavy match grade round, and you pull this stuff out, you open up the can, and it's just really nicely packaged, and it's packaged in the same way that like the Russian ammunition or the standard light ball ammo is in the little paper cartridges, but you open it up and man, it's just pretty brass case, a nice annealing, good quality projectile, nice sealed primer. I mean, really good powders. I mean, so it's not, everyone associates all this cheap ammo with poor quality because of the lower cost, but they don't realize that these companies in Russia, China, they can produce really good stuff as well. Like they can make ammo just as good as anybody else. It just comes down to what the importer wants to buy. And if they say, hey, send me the cheapest crap you got, then they're obviously going to send the lowest common denominator round that they possibly can, whatever they can make for the cheapest. So, guys, don't worry too much over this, right? Do not go out and overpay for steel case ammo. It's completely absurd. Don't do it. Don't do it. Wait a little while. Let things calm back down. And look, if you just really must have ammo, and instead of paying those crazy prices for steel case, ignore that noise and buy brass case, good quality brass case. Save up a little money and pay a little more and get the good brass case stuff. Don't overpay for that steel case crap, because the more you overpay for it, the more they're going to charge, and it's just going to make the process even worse, right?
Look, if you're real savvy, what you do.
Savvy.
If you're real savvy, what you do is you go and shoot at a range where you can actually pick up your own brass. Make sure they don't have one of them asinine rules where the brass hits the floor and it becomes theirs.
Nah, son.
Run a brass catcher or something, but shoot all that ammo up. If you don't reload and you have no interest in it, look, the reloading market right now is pure insanity. Keep your brass, tumble it if you got a buddy with a tumbler, sell it, and recoup some of your initial cost. And by the time you recoup that brass cost, you might be back down there where steel ammo or steel cased ammo used to be. All right, so if you're real savvy and you got a little time on your hands and a little bit of, just initiative,
That's right.
you can find ways to save money on ammo costs.
Also, look, I know this may not benefit as many people in the most direct way that you might think, but just think about it like this as well. We've done videos on like the CMMG conversion kits that you could drop in for 22 long rifle. You could totally get you a 22 conversion kit for your AR and get a few conversion mags from CMMG. We've done videos on it. It uses your existing barrel. You can buy 22 still at a very, very fair price. Although, sure, the price is more expensive on 22, but if you want to use a 22 trainer or pick you up a 22 pistol to train with, you can still get some trigger time in, get some training in without going broke, and that ammo is available. So might be something to consider. Although, the price is higher, it's still considerably lower than steel case ammo was originally.
Some of the 22 I've seen recently is
17,
like
18 cents a shot.
the cheapest stuff was like 11 cents a shot. I'm like, oh God, man, it's just
I
painful.
remember when the CMP. All right, now this has been a long time ago, guys. I'm kind of giving my age away a little bit. But I remember when the CMP had these big old Mylar wrapped like cases of 22 ammo. It was 40 grain solid lead nose match ammo. And I think I did the calculation when I bought it. It was like 1.9 cents a shot. But you had to buy it in this big container or whatever, but it was like Mylar sealed, military grade training / competition ammo for like 2 cents a shot. It was just so ridiculously cheap. They're practically giving this ammunition away.
Aguila ammo, when I bought some a while back, it was literally like $189 for 5,000 rounds.
Wow.
We're talking like less than a penny a shot.
Yeah, those days are gone.
And you won't ever find those deals again. Even moving forward in the future, once the dust settles with everything, and say that the ammunition market just kind of gets back to a regular steady pace, right? And there's plenty of ammo out there. The prices will never be what they used to be, just because of things like inflation.
I want to leave you with this thought: just make your shots count. You know what I mean? If you're going to train, if you're going to go out and shoot, if you're going to, whatever you're going to do, hunting, anything, make your shots count. Let every trigger pull have a purpose, right? If you're going to go out and train with a purpose, right? Make that time that you spend behind your gun count, right? Ammo prices are not getting any cheaper anytime soon. So we have to navigate these waters in the most responsible way possible. And that means fully realizing your training potential and making every round work for you in every way possible. And that's different for every person and every situation. But we hope that you enjoyed today's video, and we hope that you'll understand that this is a very screwed up thing, and we hate it, and we strongly disagree with it. And it seems that we are being subject to death by 1,000 paper cuts. And I wish that there was some way that this could go away, but unfortunately it's very, very nerve-wracking to see this situation, evolve the way it has, to where, they can bypass the checks and balances that this country is founded under and make these arbitrary decisions that are clearly not based in any form of logic that they've used to determine the impact on American citizens and American commerce. And that's very terrible. What happened to putting America first, right? This is our country. Like, why should we make decisions that hurt our countrymen and hurt our economy and don't allow our, citizens to exercise their rights in the most affordable way possible at a time right now when tons of people are out of work? There's just all this craziness going on, and people need to pinch their pennies more than ever. And you're going to take away one of the most useful and inexpensive commodities in that particular vein, of the Second Amendment and disenfranchise a huge group of people that rely on that ammunition for training and even self-defense, right? It just seems highly illogical. And I hope that if you came into this video maybe not understanding where this kind of stuff comes from, maybe you can see the light and see the both sides of the fence and how this type of stuff ends up panning out. It's highly unfair, it's very draconian, and it's highly suspect that they've even given this the slightest bit of thought. So, have a good one, guys. Thank you for watching today's Gun Gripe. We have many more on the way, and look, there's going to be a bunch of them down the pipeline, all right? Lots of Gun Gripes are coming out this week. There's a ton of crap going on that we have to discuss. I hope you understand we're not trying to fill your feet up with all kind of random stuff. But it's very important to us. I can speak for Chad when I say that this is something that we are very passionate about, and we feel that we all need to be very, very involved in things that are going on, and we need to be ambassadors to our rights, and we need to keep our ear to the ground on everything that's going on, because if it will go away if we don't keep our eyes peeled, right? So just bear in mind, there's going to be a lot of videos coming. I hope you understand that we're just trying to put information out there for anybody that'll listen. So thank you very much. A big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. You guys rock. Thank you for supporting us monthly. Also, we've got some great man cans for sale on the site. I don't know which one's up for sale right this very moment, but we've got some great man cans for sale if you want to support the channel. Also, go over to Ballistic Ink, pick yourself up some snazzy t-shirts like the one Chad's wearing here. And those are ways that you can support us directly if you wish to do so. Have a great day. Many more videos on the way, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys.